Okay, welcome back to the channel everybody. It's a beautiful sunny day at Penrith and we've got an exciting new iron review for you, and it's Ping. It's the new i59 iron. So a little bit of a player's iron. I-series always indicates we're into that player's category. First impressions, very sleek. It looks a fantastic looking iron. So really excited to test this new offering from Ping. So I've got TrackMan on the floor. We're going to obviously provide you with some numbers, some performance numbers, as well as my feedback, and there's a lot of tech to talk about this particular iron. Feels superb. Okay, so i59. So this is going to be replacing the iBlade iron from Ping, which has been out for a number of years now, and Ping aren't quick on changing their equipment. So, but I think it was well due a sort of refresh really. This has gone into the bags of a few tour players straight away, so that which is quite interesting. But again, first impressions, it's quite sleek. It's very sort of clean on that back section there. It's a hollow construction. We've got a forge on there, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. As I say, there's a lot of technologies to sort of talk about. I'm just going to hit a few shots first, just first real instincts of the actual iron and impressions, and obviously playing position there, popping it down into that playing position. It's a really nice sort of compact head, minimal offset there, if any at all, sort of slimish top line. Quite a big, first thing that sort of jumps out really is quite a big sort of toe section, as in that polished part. Well, when I say polish, it's more of a satin finish, but quite a large section from where the grooves end on the toe to the actual end of the toe. Again, that's just a bit of my view. It looks to be a larger sort of toe, but anyway, great sort of shape down by the ball. Looks really good. We've got that white bottom groove that just helps a little bit with the blade alignment. Okay, that's a nice, fairly nice strike to open up with. Nice ball flight. Straight away there, it feels, you know, there's a feel of that hollow head straight away. And I always sort of say these hollow head constructions, it never feels like a one-piece forged head. It never does for me. It's always a little bit of acoustics there, a little bit louder than a true forged head. So yes, it says forged. It's a 1025 forged carbon steel body to this. So it is a fully forged, but it is obviously hollow with a little bit of an insert, which we're going to talk a little bit about. So 7 irons, 34 degrees of loft, so it's more traditional on the loft as you'd expect from this type of iron. So really looking more around sort of control, consistency of hitting a number and spin, launch, everything like that, as opposed to just trying to get the ball out there as far as you can. Yeah, good strike there. Just pulled that a tiny bit, but really nice strike, good flight on that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what's happening in the actual head. So as I say, hollow construction. It's got an aluminium insert there, which is actually going to be saving approximately 30 grams of weight in the head, which is obviously going to be then sort of distributed in the head. So, and Ping is saying this has got the same forgiveness levels as the i210 iron. Definitely a smaller package than the i2 in terms of the head shape, but is apparently is providing similar sort of forgiveness levels as the i210. The other noticeable thing we can see is actually on the grooves themselves, and very tight sort of gap in between the grooves, much tight, and Ping have actually added 4 more extra grooves on the club face. Again, that's probably just trying to create a little bit more of that spin, that sort of consistency of spin and that phase control, and also that reduction of maybe those flyish sort of shots you can get, you know, more grooves, more debris can get into the grooves. It's a bit like a car tyre on the road, isn't it? You know, get the sort of water debris up into the grooves, so you've got more friction against the actual club face and the golf ball itself. And they also have that, obviously, that water repelling hydropearl finish, 2.0 finish there, which disperses water away from the sort of contact to the golf ball. Again, trying to keep that consistency of speed, but more importantly, that spin consistency on those playing environments when you're out on that golf course. Yeah, really nice ball flight on that. It's one of those ball flights, you know, again, you expect from this type of club. It's not absolutely firing off that club face. It's up there. It looks quite a soft flight, you know, but obviously getting some decent distance there. The spin is up where we would expect it to sort of be with this type of iron, 34 degrees of loft. You see that spin number there at 6,600. Loads of control, stopping power. Got loads of confidence there, you know, hitting into that sort of small green, pin tucked behind a bunker, downwind, hard green surface. You've got a bit of confidence that you can get a little bit of stop on that that particular iron. So precision is the big word here that Ping are using. You know, they're saying every single iron is 100% inspected. The face is laser cut on those grooves there. So every groove is going to be exactly the same depth, width on every sort of single iron. So a lot of attention to detail is what Ping are saying going into these the production of these irons. Very sort of tour-like shaping of the head. Yeah, that feels superb. Really nice ball flight again. There's that spin numbers up there. That descent angle, 51 degrees coming into land. So with that sort of spin, really good control. So I think what's also going to help with that forgiveness levels, giving it that forgiveness levels of the i210, we've got that screw in the toe that you can visually see. That's a tungsten screw, so obviously heavier, pulling that weight into the toe. But then there's also a tungsten plug in the hosel. So when the shaft, and there's that weighted plug that sits in the bottom of that hosel. So pulling that weight into that heel and that toe, just obviously, you know, pulls that away, reduces any sort of twist, and just increases that MOI, and that's what provides that little bit of forgiveness. But it is quite a compact head down by that golf ball, so it probably isn't the most confident inspiring, but then again, the sort of player that probably this is aimed at is that sort of single figure golfer. You know, somebody who's a really good consistent ball striker would sort of benefit this, and maybe somebody who isn't massively striving for distance, but he's wanting more control, a little bit more consistency on the golf shots, a bit more playability. Oh, that's really nice. Really nice. Really enjoying hitting that. You know, I think Ping really in those player category irons, yes, they've had the blueprints out, which were beautiful. I mean, they were very, very small, incredibly small. I mean, they scare the life out of me when I pop that 4-iron down. It's just so small. I think it's just a bit beyond the realms, really, of most golfers. So very small niche market. But really, apart from that, they've never been really associated with a really classic looking forged iron, have they? And that, again, I don't think they're quite there with this. You know, it's hollow, isn't it? Again, blueprint is there. I tell you what, it's so small. So I think this is starting to definitely have the looks of that player's iron in that playing position. You know, it's very sort of desirable iron there, but it's, you know, I think the feel isn't quite there if you're looking for that pure forged feel. But having said that, there's always going to be trade-offs, so this is obviously going to be a lot more forgiving than an actual blade itself. So it sits in their range nicely. You know, you've got your blueprints there for the ultimate ball striker. This is obviously giving you that little bit more forgiveness, but still with that consistency of that flight. And it's just, you know, it comes out the same window, and that's what you sort of want out of this type of iron. You see, the ball speed's nowhere near what I would sort of tend to sort of see, but then, you know, it's not designed to sort of do that. But the spin number, the control is obviously there. So talking about the lofts again, we've got 34 degrees of loft in this 7-iron as standard, but they offer that power spec and also that retro lofting. So the power one is 2 degrees stronger at 32, and the retro is 2 degrees weaker at 36. So, you know, if you're a type of golfer that might just really deliver quite a down attack, maybe reducing dynamic loft, the retro loft might be an option there. Or if you're trying to get sort of spin number up again, you're probably going to sacrifice a little bit of distance, but if you're wanting more control, maybe more spin, that's a possibility. And obviously vice versa in the power spec. You know, if you're a deliverer where you might get a little bit level on that attack, typically deliver a little bit too much loft, higher flight, maybe a bit too much spin, then obviously the power spec can obviously just try and reduce that a little bit. Ah, that's lovely. I'm really enjoying hitting that. That's really, really nice. That's right down that line, that one. Again, spin number good. So availability wise in these is a 3-iron all the way through to pitching wedge, both right and left-handed. Obviously you've got all the colour code dots in here. The shaft I'm actually hitting here, which comes as standard in the i59, is the Project X LS shaft. This is a 6.5 that I've got here, which has got that really cool sort of brushed steel sort of satin finish, which blends really quite cool look into the actual head. But obviously there's other shaft options there to suit you. As standard, it comes with a high-end grip, Golf Pride multi-compound grip with the Arcos built in the end. So we've seen Arcos in a number of clubs now that Ping are producing in all the woods and the irons as standard, and that is the same in terms of this multi-compound grip. So, okay, so i59, let's go and check a few numbers out in a little bit more detail and see how this iron is performing. Okay, so quick look at the dispersion ring there, pretty tight there to be honest, a couple of little ones up the left, but you know, all in all I'm happy with all those shots I've sort of hit. You can obviously see maybe some of the slight left ones go a touch further than the slight miss to the right, as you'd always expect. You're going to see that with every iron you hit. But pretty happy with that dispersion. We look at maybe just that top view and that side on view more importantly really. You can see the window the ball really comes out through and how it peaks out very sort of tight on that window there. So again, you know, with that extra bit of loft, that 34 degree, more that traditional loft there, we don't get really any sort of hot shots in there. You know, it's coming through that very consistent window. That's what I noticed, and I mentioned before, you know, it definitely looks like it comes through that same window on most of those shots you're hitting. Just have a quick look at the strike pattern and puts a little heat patch on all the strikes here I've hit, and actually I've hit a lot of those quite a little bit in that heel, which is not probably my best strike pattern there, but probably just goes to show a little bit of the forgiveness of this iron, which is why I wanted to sort of show you this. Just noticed each shot I hit was just a little bit in that heel and quite consistently in that heel, but you know, the sort of distance numbers, the spin, everything like that is still pretty controlled. So if I could just sort of move that strike a little bit more further out, then potentially I've got a little bit more ball speed to sort of work into that equation. And then looking at the numbers there, so club head speed 90.1, again that's typical for me around that 7 iron. Ball speed 121, which, as I say, isn't the fastest there, but I think, you know, when I can catch them a little bit more, move that strike pattern a little bit more middle, probably expect that to be more up and around that sort of 122, 123 as an average sort of mark. Launch 19.8, spin 6481, and you can maybe see that spin number there is pretty consistent there. Again, I've hit some heel strikes there, and spin's always going to just move around subtly as your slight delivery just subtly changes from shot to shot, but I'm quite happy with the tightness of that spin. It's up there high. My drop-off spin number is only 6,000 there, so I haven't got any around that sort of 5.5, low 5,000 marks there. So even those, I've got a lot of confidence I'm going to get some stopping power. So you can see 172 carry distance is average. Again, it's not the longest club I'm ever going to hit. It's not designed to be, but I'm confident of hitting that number. So you see the difference. I mean, I've got that one there at 166, which was that little bit, that slight right weaker sort of shot I just hit. Again, it was a little bit heel strike, so I've lost that bit of ball speed there, which has made that drop off. But you know, generally quite tight from that front to back dispersion on those shots. But again, descent angle at 50 degrees with that spin, I've got tons of confidence. I've got some stopping power with that iron. Right guys, so there we go, i59 iron. It's a beautiful looking iron from Ping. It performs really, really well. It feels good. It's, as I mentioned, it doesn't feel like a pure forged iron, but it isn't. You know, it's a hollow construction. We've got to remember that. So there's only going to be a limit, I think, of that feel of the club, but it's pretty good. I mean, I could quite easily play those myself. I love the fact that it comes out a really consistent window, the spin number, the descent angle, loads of control there. I've got a lot of confidence out on that golf course. I've got some stopping power. Okay, post comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Ping i59, a bit of a player's iron there. Is that something that you would go out if you're a good player, good ball striker? Is this something you would want to go out and test, or do you not consider Ping in that real classic player iron category? I'd love to hear your thoughts as always, so do post them in the comments down below. Appreciate watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring that bell as well while you're there. As soon as the video gets landed on my channel, you'll be one of the very first ones to watch and you will not miss a thing. And hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.